Hello everybody, happy Hanukkah. My name is MacLeod. Everybody probably knows me as Miriam's husband or Jesse's dad. Either way, that's me, and I'm going to show you today how to prepare quick Sufganiyot, or as we call it in Hebrew, Sufganiyot eshel, or yogurt donuts. This is the recipe that Savta Shula, my mother, my late mother, that's her recipe. The kids know it as Savta Shula's donuts, a Sufganiyot shel Savta Shula. It's a very quick and easy recipe to make. All you need is 1.5 cups of flour, 1.5 cups of yogurt. This is the eshel that we use in Israel. 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 tablespoon of vanilla. These are teaspoons. Teaspoon of vanilla, teaspoon of baking powder, 1 tablespoon of sugar. You can add more if you like, and 2 eggs. All you need to do now, for later, by the way, for filling, you need to have confectioner's sugar with jam. So I just told the guys that in Israel, whenever you make donuts, you always put alcohol into the dough. Now, I don't know if it's a myth or if it's a real thing, but you always add alcohol. It doesn't really matter which one you use. You can use arak, which is uzu. You can use brandy. You can use vodka. The claim is that the alcohol that has a lower boiling point will evaporate first when you put the dough in the oil, and will puff the donut and will make it more airy. Now, this is not a dough that actually needs yeast and rising, so you don't really need to use the alcohol, but I found it very helpful to use alcohol regardless. Now it's going to work, I think. So, all we need to do now is mix this. 2 eggs, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and then now we start adding the powder and the sugar, and we start mixing it. To make it easier, we now add our eshel, our yogurt. 1.5 cups of yogurt. It should be plain yogurt. That's what we usually use. Thinking about it, you can actually try to have vanilla yogurt. Maybe it'll make it give it some more flavor. So now you try and mix it into a nice mixture, because then we had to add the flour. Now you may have some lumps, and my mother used to say, stop it, you don't care, keep on. So don't worry about the lumps. She didn't care, I don't care, trust me, it's going to be tasty. And now we add the flour slowly and keep on mixing it. Now remember, now actually your baking powder is beginning to work already. And if you are a little more lazy than me, you can actually buy self-rising flour. Let's make it even faster and quicker. I keep on mixing it, trying to make it a real nice and smooth mix. And you'll see that it's very runny. It's not like a real dough. It's almost like thick porridge. And that's the way it should be. Just like thick porridge. And remember, you will see lumps. But don't forget what Shula said. You don't care. So we don't care. Well, it looks like this is nicely mixed. And you can see the texture. That's how it should be. And now we're going to leave it for 15-20 minutes because you still want the baking powder to rise a little to give it some more body and air. In the meantime, it's very important. Remember that alcohol is very good for the dough, so it's very important to add some more alcohol. That's very good. So let's get back in 20 minutes and I'll show you how we fry it. All right, we let the dough rest for about 15-20 minutes. Remember that resting is very important for Israelis. We always rest. I can tell you that when I was a kid, between 2 and 4, all shops in my hometown were shut down. People just shut down the store, go home, rest, and then come back at 4 o'clock, all invigorated and ready. So you let it rest 15-20 minutes, and in the meantime you heat up your oil. You heat it up and then keep it on a medium flame. It should be around 330 Fahrenheit, about. But just make sure that it's not, you don't want to put your donut in there and it looks like you're frying French fries. That's not the thing. It should be a little bit easier, more gentle. Now, taking the dough and put it in the oil is quite a task because it's very sticky. So my mom used to use 2 tablespoons. Some people use an ice cream scoop, preferably the one, you know, the one with the spring that can just take it, and you can try that. But all I know is how my mom used to do it, with 2 spoons. So you pick up a little bit, put it up, and then put it back in. Now, it's not going to look nice, and that's the whole thing. They're not going to be nice and round. They're going to be edgy with different sizes and different shapes, which is fine. That's the way it should be. And as you can see, it bubbles, but not like when you do fries, French fries. Take another one, put it in, and another one. And keep in mind, you don't want to have too many of them so they won't stick together. You have to have enough space between them. I think, yeah, 5 will be fine for the beginning. And now, you shouldn't touch them a little bit until they get, because if you touch them, they keep on rolling. This way, they stay stable and they won't roll over. So keep them for a few minutes. Let's see the flame, medium, maybe a little bit higher. But anyway, it doesn't take that long. I mean, 1 minute, 2 minutes tops, and it's ready. Now, before you put jam in them, and I'll show you in a minute how to do it, you want to let them cool off a little. Because if you put the jam while they're still hot, the moisture, the jam is obviously moist, and it's going to make it like gooey inside the donut. So you want to wait a little and let it cool off a little. I'm going to turn it over. That's better. That's the color. That's better. Now, you know, it's all a matter of taste. Some people like them darker. I can tell you that Chai, my son, loves them darker, so some of them we're going to make darker. If you have small pieces that broke off the dough, you want to clean it and take it away. Otherwise, they will burn and give the the oil and the other donuts burn flavor. Oh, that look good. Savta Shula will be proud of you. All right, I think it's time to take them out of the oil. Let's see. Oh yeah. See? Perfect. Hanukkah in Israel, by the way, Purim on the other hand is a big thing in Israel. But Hanukkah is, it's okay. Everybody's looking for Hanukkah just for the donuts. When I was a kid, back in Israel, you would never, ever find donuts in the stores except the month of Hanukkah. That's it. Nobody eats donuts otherwise. So Hanukkah is not a big festival in Israel. We have a holiday for the kids, which is a nice thing, but we don't have gifts like they do here. It's not as big as it is in here, and I guess they do it here just because of Christmas. I remember when we lived in Florida, there was a guy who used to work with me, and he told me that when he was a kid back in New York, he really envied his Jewish buddy from school. And I said, why? He said, because I was waiting the whole year for Christmas for one present, and my Jewish friend will get a present every day for 8 days. And I said, what's going on? I went to my parents and said, why can't we do my Jewish? But that doesn't happen in Israel. Now we do have Dmei Hanukkah, which is Hanukkah Geld, but nobody really uses it. It doesn't happen. Now that we let the donuts rest again and cool off, now comes the time where you put the jam in. Now, I personally love a lot of jam. If you just stick it in there and squeeze, you won't get enough jam to my liking. So what I usually do, I take a chopstick, stick it in, turn it a little bit, make a little bit of more room for it, and then I squeeze it in until some of it comes out. And again, turn, make some more room in it, and then squeeze until some jam comes out. This, in my opinion, is the best trick for jam lovers like myself. Now remember, you can fill it with Nutella, with anything you can think of really, which is sweet and nice and has a lot of calories. And now, once we did them all, we put some sugar on them. Now, my wife mentioned that while you make the dough, you can actually, if you don't want so many of them, you can actually use some of the dough and the rest of it, keep it in the fridge and use it tomorrow, fry them again. So now you take the confectioner's sugar, a little bit, and this is it, ready to go. Now we spoke about Savta Shula. This is Savta Shula. And now you can see where this beauty comes from. So, happy Hanukkah. Shalom.